Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna give you fall recommendations. I also want to thank secondsale.com for partnering with me in this video. I'm gonna talk about them in just a sec, but first I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna recommend to you guys today. So basically I'm gonna give you fall, so like cozy fall vibes for like books, movies, TV shows, and playlists. So all that stuff. It's gonna be really fun. I hope you guys enjoy. I've never done like one of these videos because I always do like book recommendations, but first I've never done like a fall recommendations video, and I've never done like movies and TV shows for like recommendations. So it's gonna be a fun time. Make sure to subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. So let's go ahead and talk about secondsale.com. So you guys, let's talk about secondsale.com, and I'm really excited to show you guys. So secondsale.com is an online platform where you have the ability to both purchase used books at an extremely discounted price, as well as sell books you no longer need or want. Secondsale.com tracks over 10 million titles daily to ensure the best market price for every book they offer. So there are a bunch of things that you can do on secondsale.com. So first, with secondsale.com, you have the opportunity to gain some money back on your original purchase. All you have to do is sell your books through sellbackyourbook.com. And obviously the second thing that you can do is buy used books that are in great shape and they have an extremely discounted price. I'm gonna show you 3 that I got and I'm gonna talk about them. So the first book that I got is a book that I've been wanting to read for so long, and it's Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. The second one is also a book that I've been wanting to read, and I think everyone has read this book at this point, but it's The Roommate by Rosie Danan. This is the one. And lastly, I got the second book from the Throne of Glass series because I've been reading the Throne of Glass series, but I don't have the second book, like the paperback. So I got the second book, which is Crown of Midnight, and I actually already started it. So I'm really liking it. This is the second book. They are all in very great shape. Honestly, it looks like completely new, which I love. I did have one small issue with one of the books, and they immediately changed it and it was all okay. And I'll definitely be purchasing in the future on this website because they have great deals and pretty much every single book that you can imagine. So make sure to click the link in my description if you want to check them out, and let me know if you do. Okay, so let's get into today's video. I have a list on my phone of all the recommendations, so I'm gonna put photos of everything right here so you guys can see. So I'm gonna do this in parts. Let's do books first, obviously, then we're gonna get to movies, then TV shows, and lastly playlists. So I have a lot of like fantasy, adventure kind of thing, but first, obviously, you guys know I love Colleen Hoover, and one of her books is set in the date November 9. So I just need to recommend the book November 9 by Colleen Hoover. If you like Colleen Hoover, you should try it out. I know it's not everyone's favorite. It definitely has mixed opinions. The first time I read it, I really liked it. Now that I think about it, it's not one of my favorites, but it was definitely a good read. It has a very shocking plot twist, and it is a romance, and I also recommend to read Ugly Love first and then read November 9, because in November 9 one of the characters from Ugly Love is kind of mentioned. You don't need to read them in this order, but I do suggest reading them in this order. But that is the first recommendation because that is just obvious. Okay, next book is a fantasy book that honestly, it's the perfect kind of like Halloween, fall, mysterious, creepy book vibes. I don't know. It's Gayland by V.E. Schwab. I don't know why, but V.E. Schwab always writes these like creepy fall vibes books. You know what I mean? So I read Gayland this year, and I read it in like 3 days, and it was really intriguing. The thing that I like. The actual book and the story was really, really good. It's about this girl that is basically an orphan, and she lives in this house of girls, and one day one of her relatives kind of finds her, so she's really excited to go live with this relative of her. And when she gets to the place, it's this big mansion, really beautiful mansion, but it's really creepy as well, and that is where it all starts. And it's really creepy, I'm not gonna lie, it's really creepy. The story had me intrigued, so that is why I loved it. But the only thing, I think I gave this book 4.5, I don't remember, but the only thing that I did not really like about this book was the ending. I felt like it needed a little bit more to kind of like wrap up the entire book. I really thought the book had more books. That's what I felt when I finished the book, but nonetheless, it's a really good read because you're like so intrigued and you get into this fall vibe. So definitely a good option. And talking about V.E. Schwab, I also have to mention another book, which is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This book was not it for me, just because it's extremely slow, but I'm gonna recommend it to you guys because it honestly has a really great story. It has a lot of world building. The only thing that I did not like about this book is that it's too detailed, so it's really slow. But if you like books like that, I would suggest you give it a try, because just because I didn't like it, you're not gonna like it. A lot of people do love this book, so I wanted to recommend it to you guys because I have heard great things about this book, and it is fall vibes. Like, it gives you that creepy Halloween fall vibes, and it's not set in Halloween, by the way, it's just what came to mind, but I'm maybe going to give it another try. Let's see. Okay, next one is another fantasy book. There are gonna be a lot of fantasy books because, I don't know, it just really gives me fall vibes, but yeah. Okay, the next one is the Kingdom of the Wicked series. So there are 3 books in the series. So the first one is Kingdom of the Wicked, the second one is Kingdom of the Cursed, and then the third one is Kingdom of the Feared. So the third book is coming out September 27th, I think. So around the last week of September. And this entire series screams fall vibes just because of the main characters, which are the Wicked. So if you don't know anything about this series, Amelia and her twin sister Victoria are witches who live secretly among humans, avoiding notice and persecution. One night, Victoria misses dinner service at the family's renowned Sicilian restaurant. Amelia soon finds the body of her beloved twin. So Victoria died, and her twin Amelia found her body. Devastated, Amelia sets out to find her sister's killer and to seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means using dark magic that's been long forbidden. It kind of sets you in the Halloween vibe. It's so freaking good. So I definitely recommend that entire series. It's so good. Okay, another one that screams Halloween is The Ex-Hex. So I read this book because it was one of the Book of the Month picks for October of last year, and I read this in literally one sitting, and it was so freaking good. I did not expect to like that book as much as I did. Like, it talks about witches, it has a lot of adventure, and it has romance as well, which I didn't know it would have romance, and a few spicy scenes as well. So it was really unexpected, but it was really good. So yeah, I really recommend that book. Really fast-paced, kind of short, and it's a fun read. Okay, next book, if you want like a good fall cabin vibes book, but a really sad book. I don't know, if you want like a good cry, and you have to read The Cabin by Jacinda Wilder. This is one of the saddest books I've ever read in my entire life, but it's one of the most beautiful books I've read in my entire life. So I got this recommendation from another book talker. I don't remember her name. It was last year, and I was literally in the search for books that make you cry. And I wanted to read a book that would make me cry, and I found it. First of all, look up trigger warnings for this book. Well, every book you want to read, look up trigger warnings. But for this one in particular, it talks a lot about grief, loss, and it's basically the topic of the entire book because it's about a couple and a wife and a husband, and the wife loses her husband to cancer, but it's a whole thing, and it's really freaking sad. But the actual story starts when her husband dies, and her husband rearranged, before he died, a cabin for her to go to because he knew she would need somewhere to go to. It's so freaking cute. It's sad, but it's so freaking cute, and a lot happens in the cabin, and it's just really wholesome, but it's really sad. So if you don't want to cry, I would not recommend this book, but if you do not mind crying and you want a book with those topics, I would definitely 100% recommend this book. It's just an amazing book. So if you want like a more romantic book, I would suggest Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren, because it does have a lot of like fall vibes. Also, Verity by Colleen Hoover is a really great Halloween, creepy, also fall vibes. If you haven't read it yet, it's amazing. Those are all the book recommendations. Let's go to the movies. So I'm gonna talk about them really quickly because I don't know how long this video is gonna be, because I explained a lot of the books. So the first movie that you need to watch this movie. I don't care, you need to watch it. It's a little bit old. It's with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, and it's The Lake House, okay? This movie, it's literally the perfect fall vibes movie. It literally made me cry. It had a shocking plot twist. I don't care what you do, please go watch this movie. It's so freaking good. I think it's on Amazon Prime. The next movie is a classic at this point. It's Twilight. If you like vampires and you wanna rewatch the movies because you've probably already seen the movies, you can binge watch all the Twilight movies. And if you haven't watched the movies, you just need to watch them because they're just a classic at this point, you know what I mean? And all the movies scream fall vibes because it's set in like the most fall vibes town. Okay, the next one is The Age of Adeline. I've watched this movie like 5 times and it's so cute. I love the story. It's one of my favorite movies. It's just perfectly executed. The story is just so freaking cute. The acting is so good. I love that movie so much. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. Next one is, it's kind of like a Disney slash cartoonish movie, and it's Coraline. I used to watch this movie so much when I was little, and it is so creepy. Now that I look back to it, it's so freaking creepy. It's a really good movie. Okay, the next movie that you need to watch if you like romance movies, When Harry Met Sally. This is also kind of like a classic at this point. It's just so cute. I love this movie so much, and it's those kind of like fall vibes with a lot of romance, and it's really cute. The next one is Good Will Hunting. This is a really great movie. This is with Matt Damon and Robin Williams. It's also one of those movies that I can rewatch, and it's gonna be so good each time. Next up is one of my favorite movies of all time. Well, it was my favorite movie when I was growing up. It is Matilda. I have watched this movie literally like 200 times, I think. I remember I used to like get home after school, and I would put this movie in repeat. It would end and I would simply just like put it again, and now when I watch it, I literally know the script. The next one is The Addams Family. If you want like a kind of like a Disney movie but with Halloween vibes, it's just a classic also, and I love it. And lastly, if you want like really bingeable movies, you need to watch Harry Potter, because I think most people have watched Harry Potter, but if you haven't, you need to watch Harry Potter. It's a really bingeable movie series. I don't know how many movies there are, like 7. They're all so good, and it screams Halloween slash fall vibes, so it's just also a classic. Okay, those are all the movies that I'm gonna recommend today. Let's go to the TV shows. Okay, so the first TV show that you need to watch, and it's one of my favorites, is Gilmore Girls. I just love the series. The main character, Rory, she's basically a book nerd. She loves to read. The town where the like TV show is set in. It's also like so fall vibes. It's just a really great TV show and it's one of my favorites ever. You can watch this I think on Netflix. And it's so good. It's so good. If you haven't watched it, please, please, please watch it. For me, watch it. Next one is Dawson's Creek, which I literally hadn't watched until last year. So if you haven't watched Dawson's Creek, it's a really good series. It's really cute. It's basically a childhood best friends to lovers. It's that kind of thing, childhood best friends. And it's just so freaking cute. I loved it. Okay, next one is a TV show that is set in like 1920s and it's Downton Abbey. It's a really good drama series. I remember I first watched this TV show, I think it was like 2014, and it was really good. I think there's like also a movie now, so if you want a bingeable series, this is a great one. Okay, now let's get to kind of like those creepy Halloween vibes kind of TV shows. So the first one is The Haunting of Hill House. I watched this series last year and it was very creepy. It's not like one of my favorites, but it's really creepy and it's like fall Halloween vibes. So if you want like a creepy TV show, this is gonna be perfect. Also, Stranger Things, obviously. Stranger Things. If you haven't watched Stranger Things, please go ahead and watch the series. It's honestly so good and basically one of the like most watched Netflix series ever. And it's just really fall Halloween creepy vibes. Next up is The Vampire Diaries and all the other vampire TV shows, the originals, my favorites ever. I've watched The Vampire Diaries so many times and it's so freaking good. So if you like vampires and like mythical creatures, a lot of drama, that is gonna be perfect. Next up is Scream Queens. So if you want like a really very creepy, scary vibes kind of TV show, you need to watch Scream Queens. I don't know, I just remember it was kind of weird, but it was good. And lastly, I think is one of the most creepiest, scariest TV shows is American Horror Story. But I would suggest always look up trigger warnings to watch this series because it's not only creepy, but it's very weird, sometimes disturbing. So it's like the perfect Halloween TV show, but look up trigger warnings. Okay, those are all the TV shows. Let's go to playlist. So I don't have like a lot of playlists. If you don't follow me over on my Spotify, I have some of my playlists that I always listen to. I'm gonna link it down below in the description. The one that I always listen to, I don't know, when I want those fall vibes, is a playlist that I created that is called Stargazing with Someone Special. It has all these very fall vibes kind of songs. And also I'm gonna give you a recommendation for a account, like a Spotify account from this girl that is literally a freaking music genius, Natalie Nguyen. I think that's how you pronounce it. She has honestly the best playlist out there. I'm not exaggerating. I love her playlist so much. Like, for example, I love jazz, and one of her playlists is called Listening to Jazz While Cooking with Your Lover in a New York City Apartment. Like that is a mood. I just love her playlist. So those are literally the only playlists I'm gonna recommend to you guys, because if you follow her, you're gonna literally have playlists for everything. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to click the link in my description to go to secondsale.com's YouTube channel and get all the information you need to shop on secondsale.com. I hope you stay subscribed. If you do, I will see you in my next video, and be excited because the next video is going to be a book fair video because I'm going to book fair and I'm so freaking excited. So stay tuned. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching and I will see you in my next one.